All right, the first full week of preseason action has just wrapped up. We're going to break down a few of the games tonight, starting with the Rams. We've got a drive or two, I believe, of Stetson Bennett. I watched a little bit of it live, and then really excited to get into how rookie Ty Simpson looked. Got a few other games that we'll get to later on, and let me know in the chat if everything is working well. I'm going to try and keep an eye on that so we can hopefully avoid some of the issues that we did last time. Think I got some better systems in place to make sure the echo isn't an issue like it was, and we'll go from there. So how we are doing this, we're just going to be watching everything through, and we're just going to identify the plays, kind of as we go along. Preseason is really good for getting to see the base versions of plays, the training camp installs. All right, so this is going to be duo, and this is going to be duo Tim, because we got not Tim, just duo, and then I'll tag it seal. So duo has a lot of different flavors. This one is actually the true duo call because it's a tight end and a wing. A lot of times out of this look, they will fold the wing, the backside wing receiver inside, and that is the 10 block. That's why I just kind of expected that. That's a Rams staple there. But with number 10 outside, he stays outside. So seal is one of the words that I use. It's more of a zone tag for them. I kind of just use it to let myself know we've got an extra backside receiver. So it's duo seal, and it is a duo concept. All right, looks like we've got a Wanda seal. Is it inside or nope? This is another duo. Yep. So this would be duo delta. So delta, we got fly motion away from the call. McVay calls that flow and fly. Fly goes to the call. Flow goes away from it. Shanahan is delta and plane. Virgin was one of them, but being a high school coach, I try to avoid words like that. So plane is another one that I've seen. Plane would be going to the play side, delta away from it. Both of those are aircraft type of terms for jet motion. Top of the screen looks like we've got like a two-man snag concept. It's not quite smash. Then bottom of the screen, we've got DAP, dagger pylon. Can't remember exactly what this top of the screen concept is. So I'm going to tag this DAP right here. I don't think it's crush. I do keep some of the playbooks handy for situations like this. I can search it down on my my other screen and see if we can pull it up. So I'm pulling up here crush. No, I'm way off right there. So I'm just going to leave this one as DAP. I'm not a huge fan of a two-man snag with the corner at the top anyway. But we do have dagger at the bottom, dagger pylon. So regular dagger would keep the slot receiver on the streak. DAP, dagger pylon, he breaks to the pylon, so it kind of gives you an extra protection. If the corner chases the dagger out like he does right there, he could be throwing the pylon, but the ball is already out. So I don't know every single call in the offense, especially as we get to week-specific tags. All right, so we've got a keeper. It's a really low cross from the backside. So I'm going to go keeper show. Show for shallow. This is a movement. All right, going to watch this one again. Looks like triple or Zen. Leaning towards triple right here. One of my favorite ways to run wide zone, and this is why you get the edge a lot more cleanly with the being a will declared version. So you got really good angles. So see the center working to the backside linebacker here, will declared. A little bit easier to get the edge that way. The Rams ran a lot of this last season. We are moving on. All right, keeper slide. Classic McVay concept there. Very underrated at other levels. Okay, so we've got one of the duo wrap versions right here. So this section of plays, there's doctor, surgeon, and dentist. And I can never remember exactly which one is which. So I'm pulling it up right now. So doctor, dentist, and surgeon, they're all different forms of duo with the wrap. So you can see number 6 right here, wrapping around the edge and getting a lead blocker for the duo. Double check that it's duo and not a zone. Yeah, so see left guard, both guards, left guard right here stepping straight to the nose. Right guard right here looks like he's giving a little foot fire in case the one tries to spike before working back. But either way, we've got dentist. We'll just pull them up right here. So dentist, we've got a final 2x2 formation. So I do think this is going to be it because by the time we get the wrap, they had the tight end, the wrap, and then there was a wing on the backside. So it was 2x2. I'll double check the other two. Doctor, yeah, that's a 3x1. And then surgeon. Yeah, so this one is going to be dentist. All right, there's our duo Tim that I mentioned earlier, folding inside on the backside. You can see 19 right there. Off of the duo action there. Another keeper slide. All right, similar play we saw earlier there with the duo delta. Great movement right there by the right side of the offensive line. A little different look to run duo Tim right there. A little creep motion here for the wing just to get a little bit better inside leverage there on his Tim block. This is interesting. I haven't seen many things uh, from McVay like this. It's a great play off of a play that they ran a lot last year. They would spirit motion this tight end to go kick out the defensive end, especially in shorter area situations right here and in the gun. So slipping him out into the flat, but the safety sniffs it out. So it looks like that's just bench. Looks like we're trying to get a corner from the receiver at the top of the screen, and then a low cross or a cross from the backside. So a way to get to a pretty common pass concept at the high school level. We've got basically a smash concept at the top of the screen, where we got a flat and we got a corner coming behind, and then a crosser and a what looks like he's maybe running a short post, being in the red zone. But whether a lot of people run a post curl and stuff back there, but we're gonna go with bench cross right here, and I still tag that in the cross family. Cross is one of my favorite ways, so I like to be able to filter through cross concepts and just see a bunch of them once I've tagged them right here. All right, so here we've got duo to a 5-man surface, and there's really two ways that they do this. This could be duo maybe, and it's possible the receiver should have folded in to block this late fitting safety. From 3x1 like this to a 5-man surface, it could be bunch or this type of surface. I typically tag it the other way, which is more of a 13 personnel duo gaps. Gaps means everybody's blocking inside, and then I do maybe if that wing folds inside. So it may not be exactly what they call it. This is more so which one am I going to be able to go find on film quickly. So here's, ironically, I just mentioned the play that they ran right here. This is getting to that split zone duo-ish type of look, and they actually run it right here, getting the tight end on the back side of it. Just a little inside zone, 6-on-6 in the box with the tight end on the back side. So this is cold Wanda. So they obviously they would do, this would be 34 Wanda because it's from the gun. But how I'm tagging film, this comes from their turbo package from the McDaniel Dolphins playbook. That cold is a way that they would tag their turbo runs to let them know that it was going to be inside zone. If there was no tag, it was going to be a wide zone. But if it was cold, it was going to be inside zone because they reuse their same concept names. So structure would be an 18 or 19 structure based on the formation call. Cold structure would be a 14 or 15 call, 14 or 15 structure in the turbo package. All right, so here we got that same concept earlier. Now that I've seen it twice, I'm going to have to go hunting for it, where we've got a corner route, corner-ish type of route from number 2. I said crush. Maybe it's crash. Let's see if I can pull it back up here. Yep, that was it. Crash. So what we've got, this is from the McDaniel. This one on the left right here, getting that crash route from number 2. Then an under route, a fin route from the number 1. I was just one letter off. Crash instead of crush. So we got the crush concept at the bottom of the screen, and then another. It looks like DAP up top again. So I'm actually going to go up here and fix this one. I tagged just DAP earlier. This is going to be crush DAP, and then same down here at the bottom. Still goes in as dagger. That's kind of the base concept there at the top of the screen. kind of like cross. That's the one I'm more likely to go filter through, so that's kind of where I put it. Just easier to sort things that way. Got another duo delta. And Ty is in the game now. Got a, he was 21 of 25, I believe the final stat line was. So let's dig into it. Starting out here with a keeper slide. Yeah. Got to see this one at the bottom of the screen again. So it looks like Ohio, which is the typical fade out, but it wouldn't really run the Ohio outside, right out, between the numbers and the hash. Or maybe that's just a really deep corner route. Yeah, he does break to the pylon right there. So we'll call that bench as well. Bench is basically what they call smash. Top of the screen, we have a basic and a China route. And that is bullet. So bench bullet. Bullet is in the bow family because I've got my backside high-low with the basic and normally an arrow route. So I kind of make that a family where I've got a backside high-low over the hook to curl area. So bullet, again, kind of being in that weaponry family vernacular. So that one, bullet there, we get that same type of high-low. All right, looks like a duo seal. So again, I do my best to use as much of the same terminology as they do with some things like seal to let me know, as I'm going back and watching it, does the receiver, do we have an extra receiver? Does he insert or does he stay where he's on the outside like duo gaps versus duo maybe? Got another keeper slide. So I would say probably 70 or so, 75%. All the words that I use come from their system. I use them a little bit differently, you might say, at least here when I'm tagging film, just because it makes it a little bit easier to go back and look at it after the fact quickly, so that you know what you're going to look for. A couple keepers here that he just did in a row while we were going through that. Okay, looks like we got some kind of inside zone. So really weird blocking scheme right here. Center avoiding the 2-eye to get to the backside linebacker. But the right tackle leaving a massive gap. And I know these are backups, and they're 2s and 3s for a reason. Are we trying to run 18 triple right here? Because if they are, I wouldn't normally avoid that 2-eye. But formationally and tendency-wise, that's most likely, and that could be why the tackle is so aggressive, because it's 18 triple. You want to triple until you can't. So there's a potential triple with what I would call a 6-eye right there, inside shade of the tight end. So maybe he's thinking to triple there, and then 43 triggers. So we're going to call this triple. That is a wide zone. Got Steamer. Yep. Almost anytime you see McVay, and I know Shieldhouse was calling this Saturday, not McVay, but anytime McVay is in, got three wide over here or on the other side, it is probably Steamer. LSU made this concept famous with Joe Burrow. A lot of people call it shock, right? So we've got basically the locked hitch at the top of the screen, got the slot fade from the number 2, and then a true stick route that can stick or break out right there from the number 3. I do categorize it in the stick family because I've got a route working the outer fade area from the slot fade, and then we still have a horizontal stretch underneath that. So it still goes in the stick family for me. Great concept. All right, got bench locker right here. Classic, the McVay deep pass over the last few years. The bench route from the bottom of the screen here. Locker on the back side. And then the double chip protection underneath. Since there's no there, I put it in the bench family right here because there's no more pressing concept on the backside like we had with the cross earlier. So I kind of, with the concept side, I kind of pick which one's the most likely one that I will go back and revisit. All right, we've got looks like a switch curl concept at the bottom of the screen. Wonder exactly what that route might have been like before that collision. Top of the screen looks like almost like Bo, but he runs a post up instead. It looks like he's running a post. Now, especially like when we get to the season and there's not training camp installs of stuff everywhere, I'm not going to be able to put a play name in every single category, and this is potentially one of them. I will say I'm going to go ahead and tag the top one as a stick concept, a true three-man stick. That's actually how I like to run it, is getting that wide and release from the stack, and then if the middle of the field is open, run a post. Now, I would say the middle field's not open. He should have stayed that on a go. I try to treat that like a go post option, and then we get our horizontal stretch with the stick and the flat route. So I like that route combination. Don't think it timed up very well here. He just picked to run the other side. I don't know what would dictate him to run to the bottom of the field there. But as far as tagging goes, looks like stick to me at the top. Got another bench locker. This time they just break the other way. Okay, so I think this is what they were supposed to run 2 plays ago. Still not entirely sure what that concept is. Are they trying to run cores? So cores is a curl and then almost like a CO route, a choice out route, where you're getting up to 5 and then rolling out like that. So maybe that is, and he's just not getting deep enough because of that collision right there. And then we're getting that stick on the bottom side. So we're going to go ahead and tag that core stick and go back up here and change this one as well. All right, Aggie, All goes. Vertical concept there. A reminder too, in case you weren't here last week, I I am on baby duty right here with our 2.5-month-old. So when he normally wakes up around a little bit after 10, so there'll probably be a point. This is duo maybe. I don't know why it took me so long to type that in. There'll come a point. I'll pause it. I got to go feed him, and then I'll come back later on. So, if you're here when that happens, maybe come back in about 20 minutes after that. Hopefully, is all it takes. But I've got a different screen there. Last week I ended the stream and then started another one. I've got a paused screen right here moving forward. Looks like another cold Wanda, just like we saw earlier. Bringing that tight end in. All right. This looks like a duo with a tight end and wing on the other side. Treating the receiver like the tight end. Not a huge fan of this. So dose is the term when it's duo to a three-man surface, where like your tight end, which is what this guy is kind of masquerading as, 83. If he's supposed to be that out block or that edge block, then it doesn't make any sense then, because 72 goes out. So maybe this is supposed to. Yeah, okay. This is a Wendy or a Wanda seal. Trying to make it look like duo, but this is a tight zone. So that's what was tripping me up, because they're running away from the tight end. So you can see the running back's footwork kind of gives it away. The open crossover plant, shoulders downhill right there. That's classic. That's classic Shanahan, McVay. Inside zone footwork right there, tight zone footwork. And then as far as which one it is, with only one tight end on the backside, I go with Wanda. And then go with Wanda Seal to let me know that I've got an extra receiver in the surface. He's tight. They're both condensed. I still don't count them as part of the blocking surface. Now, if this were a true F fullback type of player, or like use check, or if it were a second tight end, then I would go with Wendy. But with just one tight end, I'd typically go with Wanda right there. All right, there's another Coors at the top of the screen. You can see it with a little bit less collision right there. It gives us a better look. Got a curl and then the out route right there. So curl out being Coors. And then we've got another DAP at the bottom of the screen. We got a dagger pylon. They wouldn't call it that. I think this would be Parm. I know that's one that they put with it. They've got a whole cheese deal, Parm, Asiago, and all that. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, so this is Parm. That's Parm is kind of the DAP version of their cheese family. So really the difference is how deep is this this in route, the dagger route. With the cheese family, the dairy family, it's a 7 steps, so it's a little bit shorter than a true dagger route. Dagger is more of like getting closer to 20 yards. So we got Coors Parm right here, and I still this one goes in it's the dairy family. All right, ran it again. Got another dentist. Yep. This time it's Tim. Dentist Tim. Because we got the Tim block from 19 on the backside. All right, another cold Wanda. Can't tell. Somebody might have run the wrong route at the bottom of the screen. They're both in the same zone for a really long time. One of them does break out, though. I don't know if it's a thing where maybe if that was the call, or maybe he saw that receiver break outside too, so he just kind of went away trying to be a smart football player. I think this is one I'm going to punt on. I'm not entirely sure which either concept is. Top doesn't look like bench or smash to me because he doesn't. He's running in that more of the hook curl area, not the curl flat area. So every now and then there's someone I just have to skip, or I'll spend so much time looking for one play that I could, hit 20 others. All right, so that looks like a read route at the top of the screen. What we got going on the bottom here? Don't know if I've seen a 3-level flood over the middle of the field like that. Definitely a read route at the top of the screen, though. So maybe some type of rider, but no play action. So you got some other routes involved right there, and it's not out of like 21 personnel like the old Falcons offenses with Shanahan. So I'm going to put something with some type of read concept right there and continue moving on. There we go. Keeper slide. Easy. Dentist again. And we got seal that time because there's an extra wide receiver on the backside. 19 right there. All right, this would be, if this is duo, it'll be hit. Yeah. So this is hit, and this is some of the other duo tags when they truly get a kick out like we have here. They've got some fighting words like hit and kick, and jab and punch are some other ones that are more like the duo maybes and stuff like that we'll get into throughout the season. But when it's just we've got a kick out to the weak side, which is it's weak here because we don't have a third man in the surface till the tight end gets there. It's hit. Kick is whenever there's a 3-man surface and the kick out goes to that side. I'm not totally up on all my screens. It's one of the parts of the offense that I haven't had quite the time to dig into yet. So I typically just tag them screen and then move on. This is a really good example of what we're looking at Wide Zone Warriors this season as far as packaging plays. We've seen this exact same presentation 3 or 4 times and gotten duo with a lead block from this motion man, and now it's play action. And it requires basically getting held right there. Actually, not even basically, totally getting held right here to keep number 6 from just running totally scot-free. So this is a fantastic look at packaging plays. This is what we're going to be looking at Wide Zone Warriors this year, showing the illusion of complexity by reusing the same presentation, and everything is the same until it's not. So we ended up, this is just a keeper with this is just some regular keeper movement. And then I'm going to let myself know that we might even talk about that play specifically this week. Looks like a dagger at the top of the screen with an over route here from the tight end. Something that's not uncommon is if they got like a dagger right here to the top of the screen, that they'll put just this single receiver out here. So they've got dagger with the running back as the flat control. They've got their outlet over the ball with the tight end. So there's no true concept down here at the bottom. They'll put him on some type of individual route and just see. A lot of times that's going to be Puka down here at the bottom of the screen. They're just going to see, can I get a one-on-one with my best player because he's better than almost every corner in the league. And so that's, if you get that type of matchup, then that's one that you can take. Now, preseason, I don't even off the top of my head know who number 6 is, but that looks like dagger at the top of the screen. You can wait to see this receiver bending it in, but he's got to wait because we don't get the total clear out off the because of the jam off the press, and then the running back's in the flat. So dagger, and then I typically will individual routes. That's thunder. Typically, it's a hitch if he's off. It's a fade if he's pressed. Right there, he's pressed and he runs a fade, or he runs a hitch anyway. But I'm going to expect it was, or I'm going to put it thunder anyway, just because I don't know much different there. Steamer again. Great throw on the slot fade. Few plays left here from the Rams. Then we'll move on to another one. Got another DAP right here. See the pylon there off the dagger route, and then the running back out in the flat. And that could even be a thunder at the top of the screen. Maybe this one right here was DAP. And we just we never got to see him break to the pylon because he got jammed so hard. I would bet that's probably what it was. We just don't get to see it. And since I'm going to make that bet, I'm going to change this to DAP because they recycle, even in the regular season, they recycle the same plays so much that typically they wouldn't run dagger thunder and then DAP thunder. They've prepared for the week, and that's the one that they're running. Keeping a college rookie quarterback comfortable right here. This is the bare bones of one regular cross concept. Right, I've got my my post from the bottom of the screen right here. It could transition to a post if the middle of the field was empty. Then I got my cross and then my dig coming behind it, and nobody in the flats because it was kind of a 7-man protection. This is a great way to run it. You can do it off play action too, which they actually do right here. So the tight end can stay in if he needs to. The running back can stay in if he needs to. And since everybody's sucked in on the run action, you don't really need your outlets right there because there's nothing to be outlet from. So this is just regular cross concept there. Great way to run it. All right, we got Spartan at the top of the screen. So Spartan is the two-man slot fade. Trojan is another one, three-man slot fade, but number 3 is on a go route. And then I want to say it looks like another Parm at the bottom of the screen. It's not quite a dagger. Number 6, you can see him. He doesn't get full 20 yards. Or doesn't even come anywhere close to it. So we're going to go Spartan Parm. And that is a big boy throw right here. Great spot right inside the hash. Very encouraging to see stuff like that from a rookie quarterback. Little RPO action on the goal line. Probably one we should live with the give right there. Run concept-wise, it looks like maybe a structure weak because it's away from the tight end. Or this is Tiff, Wanda flinch. You can see 81's not really blocking 98 right there. On the offense's right side, he's trying to flinch him and then get out to the nickel, and then it's Wanda blocking from there. So that is Tiff. Actually, it's cold Tiff because this is an inside zone. Why is it cold? Because where do you want to be when it's cold? You want to be inside. So that's the, again, that's the turbo call from them to change a wide zone, mid zone concept to an inside tight zone kind of concept. I just use that here so I don't have to use all the numbers, because whenever I go back and watch these, I'll have in the season. I'll have other data in here that'll include play direction and things like that. So if I want to see all my, all my cold tiffs or all my inside zone tiffs right here, I don't want to have to find 14 and 15 and 34 and 35. I did that one year and it was a mess trying to put cut-ups together because everything had different numbers. So I just try and tag the main concept there, and I know it's tight zone right there, so I can go find it later. And if I want to separate it by direction, then I can add another filter with the play direction, and just with the knowledge that if it's right, it'd be 14, or 34 if it were in the gun, etc., and vice versa for the left side. Got a stick nod at the bottom of the screen. And then looks like a choice at the top of the screen. So we've got choice, stick nod. Three plays left here from the Rams, and we'll put on another one till little Tommy wakes up. Got duo seal again. Probably just getting those duos again right here, not trying to do anything crazy, trying to run out the clock and go home. Yep, end the game in victory formation. I don't typically tag those because then it messes up my data. So save it, and we'll put on another one. Had some exporting in the background here. All right, looks like San Francisco is good to go. Or Green Bay, maybe. Yep, Green Bay. I titled it wrong. So, fun watching Green Bay. We get to watch some Jordan Love, get to watch an actual starting quarterback here. Looks like we've got Wiz. which is a mid-zone concept. So if you haven't seen my YouTube video on it and you missed last week's live stream, difference between mid-zone and wide zone for me is where's the center working? Where's the center working? If he's working to the play side linebacker, I consider that mid-zone because that's where the ball is a lot more likely to hit the middle of the formation versus like the triples we saw with the Rams. It's going to get wide if the center has the backside linebacker because we're creating better angles to make sure we can actually capture the edge or actually get to the edge. So thinking about it from like a high school coach's perspective, I'm positive that in the pros they've got different tracks for the running backs, maybe a different read. I have a different read for the running backs too. I would encourage you to check out that video, mid-zone versus wide zone, on my YouTube channel. To go fully into the difference, but if you want to see like why did I tag it mid-zone versus wide zone, that's why. Because here the center's working to the play side linebacker, 41, going all the way out there, versus working to the backside linebacker, which would be number 6. And that's the same distinction I have for tight zone and inside zone. So tight zone, center working to the play side linebacker, inside zone, he's working to the backside linebacker. It's a massive overgeneralization when it comes to the pro game, but it's a really good distinction for the lower levels that I've found. I think we got 2 guys, somebody running the wrong route here at the top of the screen, both running hitches in the same area of the field. I'm not entirely sure we're supposed to be on the bottom of the screen either, so we're going to waste too much time on it. Matt LaFleur loves cross concepts. One of the reasons I love watching him. So the backside, I tag this like cross bow. Oh, no, not bow because that's not a basic. He shuts it down as a curl on the backside. That receiver at the top of the screen. So it looks like they're running almost like a Hank. Well, he didn't go all the way to the flat. So it's basically like both curl with a cross over the middle instead of an OTB. So we're going to go with both curl, cross, and pretty much anytime there's a crossing route in the concept, I'm putting it in the cross concept because that's the ones I'm most likely to go back and look at. All right, so here we've got split zone with a tight end on the backside. So this is Wendy. All right, and it's going to be Wendy plane because we've got play side jet motion. Again, this is a mid-zone running or center working to the play side linebacker there. Yep, it's Green Bay, so you know it was coming. We got stick on the front side with cross on the back side. So stick for me is a 3-man concept. They would still, I think they still tag it stick, stick knife. I caught a LaFleur playbook, play sheet, call sheet cam one Sunday night, and it was on there. And I know knife is what is the backside concept, but I just call it cross. Makes it a little bit easier in the high school. And but the stick concept-wise, stick to me is a 3-man concept. I've got a go route here as well, or a go post option. Twig is the 2-man that I call it. So this is twig cross to me. Cross is, again, every word that I use comes from the system. Cross is mesh for them, but I don't like getting cross and dagger mixed together, and they flirt between cross and dagger a lot in this system. So that's where the knife comes from, that LaFleur, and they would call it, because it's the technical route. It's a through route on top. So if it's one high, you're running through the hip of the near safety. So if it's too high, it looks more like a go. If it's one high, it can look more like a cross. And I'm talking about this top of the screen slot receiver right here. So they like I said, they flirt with the line between cross and dagger a lot, whereas I try and live in a bit more black and white world. Being the high school coach, if I want a go route there, it'll be dagger. If I want a crossing route there, it'll be cross, because the receiver at the top of the screen, whether we're running dagger to the top of the screen or running cross to the bottom of the screen here, it's a dig route, a basic route on the backside for me, either way. So they would call it something, again, a little bit different, but for me this is twig cross. It's a two-man stick with a cross from the backside. Again, there's a cross concept somewhere in it, a cross route, so that's what it goes in as. Got a little quad screen. This is a really good play, getting to 4x1. Then you got your slant on the backside. So this is bubbled now. And concept-wise, I just tag it as quads, because it's like it's a choose-your-own-adventure type of play based on what you get. Looking for numbers count, right? Looking for, do I have the slant with the single receiver, or do I have the numbers with the bubble? Version 3.0 would be if the quarterback could run if he gets neither. But you're definitely not doing that with Jordan Love, your starting quarterback in the preseason. All right, got a toss. Don't see this formation often. East, so west is our normal tight end wing pair. East is when they're flipped, so the wing is inside and the tight end is outside on the ball. So west, it's warm in the west, so the F is outside. It's cold in the east, so the F is inside. Caught that from Coach Jeff Jagodzinski a while back, teaching me a little bit about the origins of the West Coast, and I've used cues like that ever since, even with some of the different formation terms that I use. So I don't think it's triple, because they have the opportunity to triple right here, but the tackle goes with the guard. They double instead. Center still working to the backside linebacker, even though he's bossed over. And the left tackle picks the wrong linebacker. He should be going to 6. I'm going to go ahead and put it in his triple, because maybe 77 here thought he was supposed to work to 41, and since 41 was backside, he comboed with 94 instead of working with the tight end or the wing right here. Whereas if he was working to Patrick Queen, number 6 right here, he might have worked play side. Mainly tagging it triple because it's the only one that fits this description of we're running to a tight end, a will declared run to a tight end wing surface. So everybody else does what they should do on triple except this little bit right here. So one of those things that even the pros make mistakes. All right, classic LaFleur RPO right here, running some mid-zone to the nub side with a bubble to the trip side. So this is push. This is push because it's their center's working to the play side linebacker. All right, and it's to a strong side. So typically the regular 18 or 19 is will declared. So center working to the backside linebacker. So when he's working to the play side linebacker like this, it's push. If they've got a wing on the backside, it could be structure instead, but there is no wing on the backside, so this is push. and that is a mid zone because the center's working play sides. And it's a good example right here of why do I consider it mid zone versus wide zone, because there's no chance that this ball is ever actually going to get wide. It's going to hit the middle of the formation. It even cuts all the way back to the backside B gap. So if I've got to make a distinction between mid and wide zone, that is exactly the reason why. High school wise, it helps us out because it streamlines communication, right? Wide zone, the center has the backside linebacker. Mid zone, the center has the play side linebacker. They don't ever have to communicate. We don't have to push calls at the line or anything like that because I know which one I want whenever I call the play. And if I'm not getting that look from the defense, then I'll call something else. It's funny I mentioned Trojan a while ago because that's what I think this is going to go in as. So Trojan, we saw Spartan, right? Spartan was the 2-man slot fade. This is 3-man slot fade, but it's not steamer because obviously he's not running a stick route. So Trojan is when that number 3 is on a, I thought it was a go, but it could be, it might just be a 3 route, which is what that looks like right there. So we've got Trojan, and that would make sense. It starts with a T. That would be like Spartan, but it's got a through route in it. And then it looks like just regular Thunder, Thunder on the bottom side. So we're going to go Trojan Thunder. All right, I'm just going to put it in as a shot type of play. New way to run that maybe is this burner. Haven't seen this one in a long time. Kind of a new age way to fake the play action with a very old school relative to the system concept right here. Yeah, this looks like burner. So burner, I've got a pylon route. He's working in, then back out. Then I've got my crosser and my flat off of a play action right there. So burner, and that's a play pass. I want to say this is all go, but I know if it is, that receiver at the bottom of the screen should definitely not be taking an inside release. So all go Aggie, but it looks like everybody else other than him is running Aggie. So that's what I'm going to put it in as. Aggie, all go. All right, screen. All right, we've got a duo type here. What a rep by 98. Walking the tight end back. Doesn't get any better than that for a defensive lineman. So I would assume the play call right here is duo maybe. Typically, I like whenever I tag it in as duo maybe to know that I've got the actual insert from the receiver. So sometimes I'll lean on the Shanahan version of punch, which is the Shanahan version of duo. Maybe they don't Shanahan's tree and McVay's tree, even though they go way back, they don't always call everything exactly the same. So I kind of mix around some of the words so that way I can find stuff a little bit easier. So I put punch right here, knowing that it's a similar surface. It's 3x1, tight end wing, but the receiver is not a part of the core, or it would be gaps, duo gaps. he's out wide, or not out wide, but he's outside the core, and he doesn't come back in like he would on maybe there. So this is punch, and it's another duo. All right, so here we've got pretty much like we saw with the Rams. Got our tight end and wing type of duo there with an extra receiver on the backside. So we're going to go with duo seal. Checked any chat. How do I get the clips? I'm fortunate I've got somebody that I can get the .exchange files from. In the past, I have gotten them from NFL Plus. Send me a DM and I can tell you how I downloaded them from there. And then Parm was another one. How did I see Parm? That one is, there's another twig cross. Twice in a row. Finally got some transportation going on here. Transportation is the crack toss family of plays, and it's kind of like screens where there are so many variations of across the system of the crack toss type of plays that I have yet to nail down exactly which ones are which. There's truck, there's cab, there's Uber, Lyft, taxi, Ferrari. I can't keep all those straight yet. It's on the to-do list eventually. Typically, if there's a penalty where the play doesn't count, unless the play was really good, I don't tag it right there. I didn't even know exactly which play it was. Right here we've got disc, double stick. So we've got the go route on the outside and then double stick routes from the numbers 2 and 3. And then we've just got a regular over, check over and a check wide on top. So it's just disc, also in the stick family. All right, so here we've got Ohio at the top of the screen. We got fade, speed out, and then cross, shallow. Definitely got a cross and a shallow. Typically, when I tag cross, I like it to include a dig on the backside, checking the space behind the cross. If the cross clears everybody out, then you can keep working to the dig on the backside. But he's on a go. So it's like drive. It turns into drive, basically. And then we've got a wide and go. But I mentioned a while ago that I was on baby time. Baby's waking up, so I'm going to pause the stream. Normally it takes about 20 to 30 minutes to get him back down. If you want to hang around, we will finish up this Packers game whenever I can get him back down. Hope to see you then. All right, we are back. Going to finish up the Packers, their preseason Week 1 game, and we will call it a stream once we finish the rest of this game. So picking up where we left off right here, we got empty. We talked about having a drive concept with a kind of a wide and go route at the bottom of the screen, and then at the top of the screen we've got like Ohio. So we're gonna go Ohio drive and just add the go route on the bottom of that. Drive would be our primary concept right there. All right, right here we've got the deep search. It's like deep curl with a deep search route. This I want to say this is we had one kind of like this last week from the Cardinals. I know they use this from the Rams, like Warrant it's in that arena. Badge, yep, that's it. Badge. So I can see it in the bottom right here. Badge. We got the deep curls route, the blink routes, and then the deep search route over the middle right there. So badge, and it's a search concept. So you can think about like warrant, badge, that arena there, searching for something. There's a search route. All right, run play. I think this looks like supposed to be TIF, but no pun intended, we whiff on the nickel who shoots that gap. Yeah, supposed to be TIF. Wanda flinch is what TIF means. We've got at first glance, it looks like lion at the bottom of the screen, double slants, but the line is screen blocking, like for the running back. And the receivers are blocking too. So I wonder if it was like we're going to run the screen if we get maybe too high. And if not, we're running line right here or an SPO, a screen pass option. So I'm going to go with lion and then some type of jailbreak screen. Don't know if it's slammer or prison off the top of my head. Just going to go with lion jailbreak screen. Sneak. All right. Got an end around. This will be like whiz around. So the blocking is whiz up front with the Z coming around. So we're going to go whiz around. Concept is a perimeter concept. Perimeter to me tackles your jet sweeps, your end arounds, reverses, all of it. Here's another RPO. Nope. Play action. Bad decision by the quarterback here to not throw that deep ball to number 27 right there. This is one McVay did with Cup a lot. I can't remember the name for it. I feel like I saw it in the playbook a while back, and maybe screenshotted it. So it's supposed to look like the bubble, and then they stalk and go basically from there. Couldn't find it. I'm going to go with peel, all right, because it's basically post wheel with a flat route. I know that there's a little bit different of a tag that they would have just because it comes off the screen action. But we're going to go with peel bow because we basically have a basic in our arrow route right there. And that's going to go in the bow, and then I'm going to put a comment right here. Stalk and go. All right, got very loose mesh kind of concept. This is Chief. So we've got a mesh with a TP route. All right, so TP, this is what some will call the search. For them, for McVay and them, the search is the deeper route that we saw on that badge concept, more the 20 yards. The TP is the 10-yard over route. So over is 5, TP is at 10. And then we've got the crossers right there. And specifically, they use a lot of Native American terms when it comes to the mesh concepts. This is Chief. There's also Indian. Cowboy is another one, so Cowboys and Indians. But this one is Chief. I can pull this one up from the old Atlanta playbooks from Shanahan. Yep, so here it is. We can see the wheel route coming from the running back. They called it the Chief route here in the newer playbooks, like the McDaniels from Miami. They call that the TP route, and we saw the corner here too. So this is a run pretty much to the T, maybe a different formation than we saw right there. But you can see we've got the wheel from the running back, even looking over his inside shoulder before going on the running a flat and then turning it up the field. Then you got your corner from the other receiver. So this is Chief. And this kind of goes back to what I said earlier about how cross is like what they will call mesh concepts whenever it's added to another play. But if it's a true like mesh, total full field mesh concept, it falls into that Cowboys and Indians kind of bucket. So mesh concept right here. Another transportation. I got a windy, looks like here. So weak side mid zone away from a 4-man surface. Cold windy, so you see him get those shoulders downhill. So this is actually tight zone. It's a nice little concept. Quarterback a little bit late on it. Should be get rid of that flat route. This looks like a shark over the middle, so that's shallow cross with like an over route or like the TP route right there. I prefer it to be a little bit more like mesh where they can rub a little bit, just except now instead of this guy finishing the mesh across the ball, he would set up. So I prefer that to be a little bit tighter, but I'm not. This isn't a concept I'm as familiar with. Seeing it on film from them, looks like we might have it looks like bench on the bottom of the screen, corner and flat. Then it looks like they're running off the coverage right here. So I'm just gonna go with shark right here because it looks like they're trying to pretty much run off a lot of the deep coverage, get that shallow cross with the over the ball behind it. Dragon line over. So dragon at the top of the screen, slant flat, lion, double slants at the bottom of the screen, and then we have the over route from the tight end. Just a quick game concept right there. Got looks like Scout. I know Scout is the name of that speed out. Can't remember if it's its own concept name. It is not. Not to 2 receivers anyway. Omaha. Yeah, there we go. Omaha. So we've got the speed outs that can turn into fades against cover 2, and then, well, no, because these receivers don't turn out. I'm going to have to punt on this one then. Got one more I'm going to check. Winston. That's it. Both Winston. There we go. So here it is from the Falcons. See the scout routes, and then this is the Winston. So it looked like they were running the speed out, but they did pull up there. So there we go. Got our Winston concept. I watched a lot of high school film today, and it's flood because the sail route only went like 8 to 10 yards. At the bottom of the screen right here, and then we still get 3. I'd like to see if it was actually sail, this tight end should be whipping out here into the flat, and then they get that pylon that top of it, so they still get 3 guys around the numbers. Backside, not entirely sure what this one is. This the receiver running this like 8-yard speed out. Inclination would be branch. It's like a branch in the stick fan. And then because it's from a condensed formation, the go becomes. Not entirely sure what the tight end would be, where he would be. We don't get stuck for too long there. This is like an end of half play. Buddy. All right, got our twig cross. All right, we got. So Oscar, both sides have to be the same. They are here. We've got, I said one tight end is off and one tight end is on, but most often in the playbooks, it's from exactly the same formation. So right here, you can start anywhere, but the final formation pre-snap is double tight. Everybody right there that they're going to swap sides because we're going to run it away from rotation. Even though the defensive line we got more outside presence over here, running it away from the. And center is fall as a wide zone concept. The center's working play side here. So a lot of the concepts in this system are either, the center, just because that's how they declare it. It's either the declaration play, a will declared play, a zero declared play, etc. Tight end declared play. Wide zone based on who the center has, if he's play side or backside. And part mid zone concepts stay mid zone, wide zone stay wide zone. But there's a situation like this where it's this description, and even though it's typically in the wide zone category, it's the center works to the. All right, cold, windy again. LaFleur doesn't typically run duo, so that's what. Yeah, so this looks a lot more inside zone-ish, tight zone-ish to me, because that's a little bit more LaFleur's MO. So we're going cold, windy. Funny I say that, and might have a duo here. Nope. Another inside zone or tight zone. So this is where, again, I'll end up tagging things, a few things differently than they do, just to make cataloging them easier and indexing them and finding them easier. So this would be like cold. This would probably be cold, windy insert for them. Some it really depends on which one. Some will consider it windy still if even if like this guy right here is not a tight end. That's one of the distinctions that I kind of make with it, and that's some of them do, some of them don't. And then the insert here from 80, but this is going to go in for me as cold Wanda because we just have one tight end we're running away from. Seal because I've got an extra wide receiver, and then insert because I've got the insert on the backside of the zone play. So heavy mouthful right there just for a tight zone. But when it comes to cataloging it, like I'll know exactly what that is whenever I see it. Would I call it like that in a game? No. But going back to find it on film, yes. Just a pretty typical keeper right here. The tight end is very deep on his down flat right there. Should have been a lot farther in the flat, but it is just keeper. Got another burner off of totally different run action. All right, so here we go again with the one of those last concepts that kind of threw me off a little bit, where I said that it could look like flood if you've been watching high school film all day like I have. At the top of the screen here, we got the speed out, then we got the hitch, and then the corner behind all of it. Seeing it in this formation gives me an idea of what it might be. No, I'm wrong right there. Yeah, it would take me a while to find it. So, it's going to bug me, but move on so we don't get stuck. And we've been at it for a while. I was thinking maybe it was Oakley, but that's a corner and a speed out. But we've got the extra one here. It's bugging me bad. Yeah, I'm not seeing it, so I'm going to have to move on. Make a note right here. Might go find it. Oakley-ish. Or I'm going to go. All right, the rare Shanahan-McVay offense gap scheme. Got some GT counter where the tackle gets stuck from the 3 technique. So this is counter sift. So typically counter, if it was just like 13 counter, 12 counter would be strong side. So there would be a play side tight end, and then the F would be the wrapper, like a GF, normal GF, GH counter. But whenever you get the sift tag involved, that tells the F that he is sifting on the backside, and then as a result the tackle is now pulling. So we got counter concept there. Power. All right, we got the F on the kick out and then 68 on the wrap. It's just power. All right, so we've got an escort screen on the backside with our normal cross type of concept on the backside, except he finds the window and sits in it there, and then the slot receiver trying to hold that one of those hook defenders. So we're going cross escort. Escort is what they call the lead swing. It's an escort screen is what it's called. It's like balloon is one of them from McDaniel's playbook. That's the snag, the Y corner where the flat is replaced by the lead swing. So you got your snag route, which what they call the arrow route. You got the corner and then the lead swing going out to the flat. That's the balloon concept. But the individual technique, they call it, is the escort screen. All right, so here we've got double tight duo. So we got an extra tight end on the backside. And this is where the it's like duo maybe, but duo maybe is 3x1. So this is 2x2. The tight end's blocking out and the receiver's leading through. So this is dose. All right, and so it's automatic here for it's automatic, pretty automatic maybe for the Z right here to go fill on dose if we've got a strong safety down, or we've got the rotation right there. And then we're going to go extra because we have an extra tight end on the backside. So it's seal if it's an extra receiver, extra if there's a tight end on the backside. So at the end of the day, we got duo concept, and we got the next play. All right. This is a very common concept for LaFleur here. Running we saw the nub 3x1. The 1x3 is what it technically is. The nub tight end and then the 3 away from it. We saw that earlier when he were running mid zone to the tight end. The more common one that he does is this, running tight zone with the tight end on the backside, so that the quarterback doesn't have to have a read. And then we've got the RPO play side, which he really could have thrown right there. This is just cold Wanda bubble. That's a very common one from Matt LaFleur. Twig cross. You can see over here on the right side too. Something that All-22 Review does. It does have tendencies as well. This is the film watching app that I made, and as you're putting in the data, it's running the numbers for us on the right side. So twig cross is the most commonly called or most commonly tagged play we've had so far. Bench cross, well, that's the concept, but it's really a keeper. They just run the same routes they would if it were bench cross, or similar routes. Here we go again. Same concept that's going to haunt me. I'm going to have to find it tonight. So stay tuned on Twitter or X, and I'll post it whenever I find it. It's going to haunt me till I do, because I know I've seen diagrams of this. Just got to find it. I think got about 10 plays left. If you're still here, I appreciate it. Hope you've enjoyed it as much as I've enjoyed breaking it down. This is going to be a weekly happening every week throughout the season as we get new film. Tuesday nights, I'm a high school coach too, so by Tuesday, the game plan's already been made for the week. That's what the weekends and Monday and are for. But we're going into Wednesday practice tomorrow, and Wednesday's about cleaning stuff up. So can't put anything new if we're trying to clean stuff up. At first glance, this looks like where we get the big field post right here. This looks like heat, but if it were heat, then he's supposed to be rolling out the other way. The receiver's supposed to be throttling down on the hash. Instead, he's running all the way across. So it's just like it's basically a cross concept with a post on the play side. So I'm going to tag post cross right here. I know, this is on the play side of cross for me. I've got a go post option right here from this receiver, just like I would on stick. So he's just trying, I guess, here at middle field is closed. So if it were me, he needs to be keeping it straight as far as how I'm coaching the receivers. But I can see him trying to run through the hip of the safety right here, so that safety can't nail down on the cross. The cross coming open, and the quarterback doesn't have enough time to throw it. Might be trying to get a wave type of play here with the double post and then the cross. So I tag that as cross clear, which is our normal cross concept. We just have an additional clear out route on the front side, but then we have a go on the back side instead of a basic or dig. Good 21 personnel right here. I think we just got regular sift. Yep. Let's see if it was cold. Is it inside? Believe so. Take one more look from the other angle. Really looking for the running back's feet and shoulders right here. Does he have to cut back or does he square up? I think he has to cut back, in which case it would be mid zone. Yeah, see, he doesn't get square yet until right there. think I'm still going to call it inside zone, though, just based on how the O-line is blocking, really maintaining, keeping the inside leverage. You can see the tight end and the right tackle both like throw their guys out versus any chance of trying to hook them and reach them. So we're going to go with cold sift and make that a tight zone. Got another keeper. Yeah, giving up play on third down and forever right here. Just cold Wanda. So we got 3 plays. Last 3 plays are here. Last drive of the game. Going back to that screen we saw earlier where we got like the double slants. Now it even looks like we're running slants to the top of the screen too, but the line starts screen blocking. So I think we called it Lion jailbreak. Looks like we got our Winston again. So this is what I tag cross bow. I've got a normal crossing route, and then I've got a bow on the backside behind our crossing route. Only difference is we've got a curl route on top of the screen instead of a regular go. So we're going to go curl, cross, bow. Still going in the cross concept, and that is the last play for the Packers. So we're going to call that a night with the stream. Really appreciate you watching. Again, this is going to be something we do every week. So if you've enjoyed it, hope to see you back next week. Leave some comments down below. Let me know what you think. If there's anything we can do better. Still trying to figure out the chat. Why I can't get the chat to work in my little studio. So hopefully I can be. I'm going to be working to keep getting that going as well. I'm double checking chats to make sure haven't missed anything. Doesn't look like I have, so I'm going to go ahead and shut it down. If you missed last week's, then you can go ahead and watch. Last week's we looked at the Cardinals Hall of Fame game with Mike LaFleur. Missed the first half of it because I had some echoes going on, but then after I went to feed the baby and came back, I got it fixed. So the second half of the stream